My name is Emily Boykin. Cool, just got married earlier last year. And I attended App State back in 2015, 2016, marketing. And now I'm the owner of Eminent Pen. And Eminent Pen is a really cool creative agency where we specialize in anything writing. So resume writing, career development, which is what I'll talk about today, editing, publishing for books, ghostwriting, and marketing. So website content development, blog writing, anything that involves. Okay, so today we're going to talk about ATS. What is it? It's something that has started just a few years ago. It helps companies make the job hunting process so much because ATS is something very, very picky. It is a software that companies use. But I'm going to tell you how you get past the box. And how you can get your foot in the door with that company. I'm going to teach you how to write an ATS compliant resume. It's not that hard, I promise. You just follow the simple rules, you'll have no problem. And I'm going to tell you about keyword optimization, which is a part of the ATS process. And then I just have a small little pop quiz. Don't worry, it's not great. All right, so what is ATS? It is called Applicant Tracking System. They are different softwares and tools that companies use today. So if you've ever heard of Workday, PeopleSoft, ADP, Salesforce, all of these systems have ATS integrated inside. Let's say I'm a hiring manager. I'm hiring a marketing manager, right? I have all these skills that I want this marketing manager to have. So I have this dream candidate in my head. I have all these skills down in the system. And then I publish it. And then it's on LinkedIn, Indeed, wherever the company is publishing. When that candidate applies, if they have the skills that that company is looking for, then their resume is going to appear higher on the list than all the other applicants. If your resume doesn't, then your resume can either be debunked completely, or it would just appear lower on the list. So you might get an interview, you might not. A lot of candidates these days don't really understand how ATS even, why do you invest in it? What's the point? Well, it saves the company tons of money because when you hire a qualified candidate, you are saving thousands of dollars. If you hire someone who maybe is okay fit, maybe not, maybe might not like it, quits in 3 months, well, that company now pays tens of thousands of dollars because they quit. Because now they have to republish the job posting, redo the search, and hire someone new. They utilize these ATS systems to basically take away all of that stress. Because when they find that ideal person, well, then that's it. It also provides a lot of insights and reports. So who is the candidate? What are their skills? LinkedIn, we'll talk about that later. That has ATS as well. So with your profile, you want to make sure that's up to date. It does ensure legal compliance as well. So making sure that a candidate is aligned on the resume. You want to make sure, I know it's great to list everything in the possible world that this company wants on the resume, but you want to be truthful because if you aren't, the company would know. It also improves the candidate's experience. So let's say you aren't a good fit, right? You might get that automatic rejection letter. Sorry, thank you for applying. However, you're not a good fit. That's the ATS saying your resume didn't match. But what if you did? Then there was something missing on the resume to get you to that point. But if you did pass the initial screen, then you would get that email from the recruiting manager. Hey, I got your resume. I'd love to get on a call with you. Or in today's world, I'd love to get on a Zoom with you, right? In-person interviews don't really happen anymore. But the same concept of you presenting yourself in person is the same exact way you present yourself on Zoom. And also, again, saves money. It also saves time. Think about this. Think about Coca-Cola. Let's say Coca-Cola is hiring a supply chain manager. Think about how many applicants will get. Hundreds, because of the name, right? Coca-Cola. Everyone wants to work for a big brand company. Think of the recruiter. If they have so many different positions they're hiring for, and then they get 200 plus applicants just for this one role, they wouldn't have a job, right? They'd be spending their whole day just scanning resumes. This saves them so much time because only the most qualified people would show up on their list. So then they would just go down that list and call, right? So, and it also saves time for you too, in the long run, and I'll show you how. And it also streamlines the hiring process, as I said. If you're not a good fit, ATS sends a rejection. If you're a good fit, then notifies the recruiter gets in touch. It does help in the long run, but it can be a real pain if you don't know how to use it. So this is what we're going to talk about. All right, well, here's the downsides. There's always a yin to a yang, right? So ATS, it's very, very big. I know that in today's world, especially with creatives, they love their resumes to have tons of color, tons of pretty graphics, photos, multi-column designs. Although they look really, really cool, ATS has no idea what it means. ATS is very, very specific. It follows a very traditional down the line resume format with bullet points. You want it to be very plain Jane when submitting to a job. And you might not even know the company uses it. It's always the best practice to make sure your resume is ATS compliant no matter what. Because 95% of companies use them, even small businesses, right? Now, the company has 2 people, maybe not, right? But with companies that are small and mid-sized and international, absolutely. So you always want to be prepared. It can be unreliable sometimes. So let me ask this, have any of you ever, let's say, you go on a job posting and it looks very, very outdated, like that very old application system like Wells Fargo or Bank of America, and it says to upload your resume and it actually doesn't paste everything. You guys ever gone through that? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? So when a resume is not perfectly ATS optimized, when you parse the resume or you upload it and it's supposed to automatically paste it, sometimes it doesn't happen. So just a rule of thumb from me to you, always just manually enter it. It will take a little time, but it's going to help you in the long run. Always upload it and then just double check to make sure that all the information has been transferred. A lot of applications though today don't really do that, but for like the big banks, big accounting firms, the Big Four, they definitely use those. So just keep an eye on that if you do come across one. So again, if your resume doesn't comply with today's requirements, then you might have a really difficult time getting in your. A lot of my clients, when they submit their resume, before giving me what they have currently, they always say, I keep getting no, I don't get a call. Why? And I said, okay, well, show me your resume. And I would see a resume that would not pass at all. And I'd be like, okay, well, here's your problem. So I've had clients where they would take the new resume to the job that they were originally rejected to, they get a new with the ATS resume. That's how big of an impact this has. All right, well, how do you do it? Let's find out. All right, so when you write a resume, you mostly create a Microsoft Word, right? Or Pages, our Mac users, right? Now, I've had clients create resumes in Google Docs. I would stay away from that because Google Docs and Microsoft Word don't really have the best relationship. When you have a ATS compliant format on Word, if you try to copy paste it on Google Docs, it will not transfer well. Same thing with Pages. Yes.
What if you do? Because I have mine here in Google, but I downloaded the PDF, that's in the PDF.
Yeah, so if you have a ATS compliant resume format on Google Docs and it's ready to go, you can say that is a PDF and it'll be fine. You just can't copy paste from Google Docs to Word or Word to Pages or intertwine because it's not going to look the same. Okay. Formats on Google Docs are going to be different than Word, Word, and then so on, right? So I would say pick one that you use the most and stick with it. The reason why you apply with your PDF is because, one, I have come across people who are recruiters that don't use Word. It's kind of like, really? Microsoft's everywhere. Believe it or not, nothing's impossible. PDF is a draft that can always be opened, can always be downloaded, no matter where you are, no matter if you have internet or not. So that's why you always submit the PDF. Bullet points are your best friend. Okay. I have seen some resumes where you have very large, like under each job, you have very large paragraphs of all your achievements, and that's fantastic. But start a bullet point after each new sentence. One, it makes it more visually appealing, because think about it. Recruiters only spend 30 seconds. Not even. We have an attention span of 6 seconds. If I don't capture you in 6 seconds, I've failed. All right. If you don't capture the hiring manager in 6 seconds, then that's it, right? So bullet points have that eye-catching visual that says, okay, here are all the achievements. And you can do other tricks too, to say, here are the key projects I've been a part of. You as students, you want to showcase 1, your education, 2, your GPA, especially if you're applying to companies that require GPA. 3, volunteer work, organizations, clubs, awards. You want to showcase that on top, so recruiters can see that right in plain sight. As you build your portfolio and have positions, or if you had internships already, well, then over time, your education will go down because it's not as relevant, right? That's all good resume practice. Organize sections. So let's say instead of having this one big page of awesome text about you, you want to kind of organize it. So your header, your contact info, right? You don't want to put, now let me say this, when you're in Google Docs, Microsoft Word pages, you never want to put anything in the header. You know, when you double click at the top, this whole new section appears, never put anything there. ATS has no idea how to read something that's in a header or footer. Okay? You want to just utilize the page itself. Okay? Then you want to organize it by professional summary. What are 3 sentences that highlight you? Then education. Do you have any certifications while in school, or have you taken courses on Coursera.org? You want to put that there. Areas of expertise or core competencies or skills. That is where you put your hard skills. So for you all, your coursework. Because your coursework, the names of your courses, those are hard skills. Marketing management, marketing analytics, social media marketing, those are all key skills that you've learned, right? Tools and programs, Canva, Adobe Creative Suite, Microsoft Office, those are all things you want to put on your resume too. Then let's say volunteer work, organizations, you want to organize all of that as well. Prioritize the keywords and optimize them. I can't believe I read prioritize out of that. But optimize your keywords, right? So I'm going to teach you how to read a job description. That is how you're going to make your resume ATS compliant. You want to optimize it with what you're targeting. So I'm going to show you that. Now, the page length, since you're students and you don't have a lot on there, right? You're just starting. So 1 page is totally fine. I've had some students that have had a lot of stuff. 2 pages is more than fine. Earlier resume rules said 1 page, you want to stick within that 1 page. That's not a requirement anymore. 2 pages is totally fine. As if you have, let's say someone in IT, their resume might be 3 because they have tons and tons and tons of software, tools, programs, and such. Okay. So just know that. The don'ts, no photo. Although we look awesome, that's where the link, that's why LinkedIn is there, to have your photo there. Because recruiters, when they see your resume, they're going to go to your LinkedIn because they want to see. They want to see if it matches your resume. No header, no footer details, because again, you don't want to screw up the ATS. No fancy graphics. Something really cool in Microsoft Word, you can actually do color and you actually can do boxes around the headers because it's integrated within Word. It doesn't affect it. But if you bring in really cool graphics with Canva or Unsplash or anywhere else, that's kind of foreign to ATS. It doesn't know what that means. So you want to stay away from that. And no large paragraphs. The professional summary is different. Yes.
So when it comes to fancy graphics with, let's say, like borders, that might come with Photoshop where they debug, like, page to separate text, that also counts as graphics in the system.
The page border,
Yeah, like the lines that you might, yeah, like not necessarily page border, but you know what I mean, where you get some text and then you, I don't know.
you have a line separated,
Yeah, separated.
that's totally fine. If it's integrated in Word, if it's applied in Word, that's fine. Anything external, you don't want to do that.
Like when you just insert add image tab, nothing from there, but
Correct.
you can get it from the main, I forget what they call it, home bar, not the home, but the main taskbar, if you can get it from there, that's what you're saying. Is fine.
Yeah, and I'll show you. So I'm gonna show you samples. By the way, is this a pointer? Oh, it is a pointer, cool. Awesome. All right, so here we are. All right, let's take a look at this. So this is a yes. Now, as I mentioned, these resumes are more plain Jane. They're not like, wow. But here's the secret. If you want a resume like this, just print it out. Give it to the interview. Give it to the Fed. There's no ATS with their real hand. But when you apply, you want it to be this, right? So this resume here, they have their name and then they have their contact information below. It's not in the header, but it's at the top. Okay. Then we have their education, right? So Master of Business Administration, here are their awards, this is what they've done, Bachelor's of Engineering, then their professional work experience, right? So their company, then their positions. So this person's had multiple positions, so they condensed it. Instead of having large bullets for each one, they decided to put it together. And same thing below. Down here, other. So this person decided to list the technical skills, languages, certifications. Any questions about that? No. Okay. This one's really, really cool. I'm a creative, so of course I look at that one. 2-column resumes. Newer, I want to tell you this, newer ATS can read 2 columns. Older ATS cannot. So here's my thing. If you want to take a gamble and try a 2-column, you can. But not knowing which company uses what, I always just stick with the traditional. Probably with newer companies, they'll more likely read these, but with the big banks, probably not. They use very, very traditional ATS systems. So with this one, do you see here with the skills? It's like a big block of text. Same thing with here, their work experience, big block of text. It's a little hard to read. Think about if you're a hiring manager. I'm getting lost already. I see like the bold words, but I have no idea what this person's done. You want to make sure you separate each key sentence with a bullet. Same thing here, bullet points. No photo. See these graphics here, these really, really cool paint splotches? That's what I'm talking about, that's not on Word. So you don't want to bring that in. Now, the pink border, that's just in the PowerPoint, but to your question about lines and borders, you can do a border in Word that outlines it within Word. You can change the color. You can absolutely do color in your resume, and I'm going to show you later on. You just don't want to do too much. I always say, do a color that's calming to the eye. So no crazy neon, calm blues, maroon, red. That's a good color for your eye. Does anyone have any questions about those 2 resumes? Anyone on Zoom? If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Do we have any questions so far on Zoom?
Not in the internal chat. It was if you have one.
Oh, I can check.
But not in the everyone.
Oh, I can check. Welcome. Oh. Cool. All right, keyword optimization. This is what I talked about earlier. Oh, froze again. How did you do it last time, Bill?
So just click on with the mouse, just click on the circle.
Perfect. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier, LinkedIn does have ATS. It's called LinkedIn Recruiter. Has everyone heard of that before? Yeah? Okay. So when you're on LinkedIn, you can sign up for like LinkedIn Premium. There's different levels. But when you are a recruiter, you automatically have premium. And I know this because I was in staffing. Okay. There's a system called LinkedIn Recruiter where you can go in the back end, just like their job application system, type in or paste the job description of what they're hiring for, list in the key skills they're looking for in their ideal candidate, and all these profiles show up on the list. You know what they do? They click that person and they send them an email. Raise your hand. Have you ever received a message on LinkedIn from a recruiter? There you go. They found your profile through LinkedIn Recruiter and they thought you were a good candidate for a position they're hiring for. So they reached out. LinkedIn is a wonderful, wonderful platform when you're applying. I strongly urge you to get premium when you are first starting out. Because look right here. This is basically ATS handing it to you on a silver platter. Because when you have premium and you're a candidate, let's say you're applying for this account manager role and you're moving to California, right? Here's the job description of what they're looking for. But on the right, it shows how you match. Now, it does show that to you now when you're not premium, but it goes a little deeper. So see here on the right, this is a competitive intelligence. It shows you based on your resume and based on your LinkedIn profile, you're in the top 25% of 127 people. Okay. In your current role, so the job match based on what you have, your skills, what you've done, and what you are now. And then here, these are keywords over here. So you have 8 out of the 10 top skills this company is looking for. So remember in that ATS system, they put in the skills that they're looking for in their ideal person. Well, there it is. So if you have it, the more you have, the higher the ranking you will have. Okay. This is with every single position on LinkedIn when you have premium. Sometimes, this is just a little job secret. It's not resume related. So sometimes you'll even see the person who posted. I always recommend this. If you want to stand out, I always say apply first, message this person. Click on, I tell you not, click on the person's name or their page and message, say, hi, what's her name? Oh no, I can't even read it. Hi, Miss So-and-so. My name is Emily. I'm currently a student here at Appalachian State University. I'm currently, I'm actively seeking full-time employment upon my graduation. I came across your role for account manager. I wanted to let you know I applied, but here's my resume for your review. Not only did you apply, you just put your name straight on the woman's desk. She'll remember you. Even if you're not the right fit, she'll remember you. So when she does come across a position where you're a good fit, guess who she'll message? You. Anyone have any questions about this? Oh, cool. All right. So as I mentioned, with the job description on LinkedIn, ATS analyzes your resume and matches its job descriptions. This is when it gets a little tricky. Okay, this is why a lot of clients hire resume writers, because one, they don't have the time to research all these different jobs. But sometimes clients think that they have to match their resume to every single job posting. That's not exactly true. All you have to do is review the job description itself. If you find, let's say, let me ask you, what's your name?
Chris.
Chris? What type of position do you want to get into after college?
I would say operations.
Marketing operations?
Supply chain.
Oh, supply, oh, your supply chain, perfect. So you would look up supply chains operations manager or operations coordinator. Chain operations coordinator. There's different titles. Gotta keep that in mind. You would look up all these roles and on Indeed, on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, you would flag all the ones that stand out to you. And this is what I always recommend. Copy and paste every single one of those job descriptions into a word cloud generator. Because then You know, when you're in class, I bet you've always signed, your professor had a question, then everyone typed in an answer, and it showed up on this really cool word cloud. Has any of you done that? It's really fun to try. Well, all the words that are used the most get bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so that tells you that the bigger words are used the most. So guess what? You put that word in your resume. So let's look at this job description. Do you love social media? Of course, but that's a word, social media. Okay. We're looking for a marketing coordinator. So if that's the role you're targeting, put marketing in there. I even suggest sometimes putting the title of the role you're targeting at the top of the name. That tailors it for those roles. Yes,
That's used, like the word generated.
yeah,
But like one of the biggest questions is, like, what our private strategy is usually the bigger words. I try to use like what frequencies of the biggest word. I'll maybe mention it like 3 times wherever it's applicable on my resume. There's frequency after matter when it comes to ATS. I feel like that's my useful word.
the word is. So if you have, let's say, social media marketing as a skill, but then you did social media management under your job, you can use that word. Make sense? There's different variations. So let's see, your main responsibilities include social media marketing. Well, if you've done that, then put it in your resume. Google Analytics, that is a tool. If you understand it, you've used it, you put it on there. Here, you see this skills? So in a lot of job descriptions, minimum requirements, preferred requirements, our ideal candidate will have, our dream candidate will have, like that section, you want to literally analyze. So let's see, Canva. And then you want to use Canva this year. Isn't it the best tool? So you put that under your skills section. Knowledge of traditional and digital marketing tools. Well, traditional marketing, digital marketing. Those are 2 totally separate things. But those are keywords that they're looking for. SEO, SEM. So when you see acronyms, I always strongly suggest putting both the full word and the acronym on the resume. So like in skills, you can put SEO, but then in your resume, put search engine optimization, search engine marketing. You want to put both because every company is different. Solid computer skills. Maybe not. That's very, very generic, right? But maybe highly technical. Let's see what's after. Microsoft Office. That's what you put. Web analytics, website analytics, and then Google AdWords. Now here, with the soft skills, excellent communication, presentation skills, those are good too. I always say focus more on the hard skills first, then incorporate your soft skills in sentences. For example, exceptional communicator with a strong ability to prepare and present reports to senior management. Instead of just saying communication, presentation, you now put those 2 in a sentence that's compelling. Does anyone have any questions about that? Are you still with me? Good. I know that resumes are the topic that like no one wants to talk about, they're the most boring thing ever. But when you know how to do it right, it's going to go well. All right, pop quiz. So this is a job description for a marketing manager. I want you, can you guys see it okay? Okay, I want you to look at it. And I want you to think about the keywords that you would put in your own resume. I'll give you just a minute. Everyone on Zoom, do it too. All right, ready? All right, I'm gonna call on all of you guys, and I just want you to pick one. Pick one keyword that stood out to you. Which one stood out?
Collaborate.
Collaborate? Let's see. Okay, oh, collaborate. Why did you pick that one?
Because a lot of these companies are looking for things, people who want to do that might be something that they're trying to good collaboration.
Correct. Now, in this situation, you wouldn't put collaborate. You would put cross-functional collaboration, cross-functional collaborator. Instead of just collaborate, there's different variations of how to say that word and put it in a sentence. Cross-functional collaborator with a proven track record of contributing to a team, something like that, right? All right, what did you find?
Strategists.
Which one?
Strategists.
Strategist? Yeah, so strategic planning, critical thinking strategist with a blank. The words that you guys are choosing are more soft skills, which is good. You want to include those. Think of this hard skills too. All right, Chris, what's the word that you found?
For hard skills, specifically, I kind of thought about the mention of SEO or search engine optimizer.
Absolutely. Search engine optimization, SEO, you include both. And then what's next to it? Keyword. Okay, so if either of you marketing majors ever get into SEO, you're going to learn about keyword optimization. You're going to learn about meta descriptions, meta titles, meta tags. You're going to learn about image optimization too. Those are going to be hard skills you want to put on the resume. Okay. All right, what'd you find?
Analytics.
Yeah, absolutely. Now with analytics, that can go a lot of ways. Business analytics, marketing analytics, Google analytics, or just analytics in general. So when you look at the job description, if they include another word with analytics, you want to make sure you put both if you know it. If you don't know it, don't put it. Okay. And they understand, you guys are just coming out of college, you won't know everything. But if you do know it, put it. All right, what'd you find?
All right, we got online/digital marketing. I
Absolutely.
see that so many times.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So you probably wouldn't put them together because not a lot of job descriptions will put both like that, but you'll do online marketing, digital marketing, online advertising. That's different variations, but absolutely. Let's see what numbers we got. Well, did anyone on Zoom respond? I see one. Oh, we got one?
Let's say,
No.
I guess that's
Really, Anne? That's all right. All right, let's see what else we got here. Formulation. That's a good one. So for example, one thing to keep in mind when writing your resume, this is a big one. You never want to just list every single thing you did. Okay, one, that's not going to be a wow factor. And two, you want to show the hiring manager why you're different. And say, let's say Sandy Sue filed papers. That's not very wow, right? How about Sandy Sue developed a filing system? Who would you hire? This one. Because she developed the filing system, whereas just filing papers, not so much. Now, you want to make all your bullet points achievement oriented. What have you done here at App State? And you've done a lot. You've done plenty. You've got to turn your sentences into powerful impact statements. Formulate is a fantastic one to start a sentence with. Formulated strategies while collaborating with a team in marketing analytics. Okay. Digital connection with consumers, consumer marketing, consumer target, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Those are all keywords. Google AdWords, Facebook ads, paid ads, organic ads, right? Brand awareness, brand development, creative ideation, creative brainstorming, content marketing. Now, not update website content development, website management. But if one of your bullets says, updated the website, well, then that's when you put it, right? Insight, that's a good one. So like consumer insight, marketing trends. Those are all keywords that you want to keep an eye out for. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this? Yes.
So let's say that if we don't have those hard skills, you said,
Yeah.
how do you think the recruiter would take it if after you look at that, you go and have to get a certification, like quite recently in it, just to actually match the hard skill, and then you put in the application, but you do have the date saying, oh yeah, I got this like maybe a week ago after I looked at the resume.
If you get a certification, put it on here, or if you're in the process of getting it, put it on there. Like you put, well, not the resume, I'll show it to you in a minute, but if you're in the mid, like you're in your bachelor's, right? You put it on there, even though you didn't graduate, because you are in the program. Certification, if you are in the program and you get it next week, put it on there. You always keep it, yes.
Oh, sorry. I didn't-
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like, because right now, like, I got a white belt certification in Six Sigma.
Yeah, oh, that's a good one.
So my advisor or teacher that got for me to get the certification, he's trying to actually encourage me to get the green belt, which I am going to work on the green belt.
Good job.
And work on it. But so after what you just said, I mean, to say like work in progress on the green belt on my resume.
So how soon are you looking to get that? Like how soon are you going to get in the program?
I would say before August, perhaps.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking.
Yeah, so on your resume, you can put a sentence under like list the white belt certification. Put a bullet point under that saying actively seeking to attend green belt certification this. So then the recruiter knows you are going to get it. Don't leave that out. That's a good job on that. That's gonna really help you. Okay. So look like great circles to go through, and that's okay. I went through it with you already. But again, looks like, let's see, creative content writing, that's another one. Creative writing, critical thinking, interpersonal skills. Those are all soft skills, but they're very important skills. If a company puts that in the job description, you want that in there. Let's see, excellent communication. Sometimes a company would put written and verbal communication. So I always just say, do the written and verbal communication just all together, because even if they just have communication, the communication word will show up. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on Zoom? All right. Okay, guys. So here are two samples of Eminent Penn's resumes. These are former clients of mine who I recently worked with, all different. One's an executive assistant, and then this one was an executive director for nonprofit. Here's the border I was talking about. See the border around the resume on the right? You see the color? So you can put that in there, but you don't want to bring in crazy paint splotches. I'll ask the crowd, what stands out to you about these resumes? Throw them out there.
The skill set on that one is very expensive.
Yeah, blue, I like blue skills. I got that same sort of thing on mine. And just the blue itself, I mean, of course, that's also, you say gender dependent or, just blue, male, think all that. So I'm leaning towards the blue, So I probably like that better just because it's me and also my
Yeah.
resume sort of that bluish color.
Uh-huh.
Versus the pink.
Yeah, they're both female, which is cool.
I'm just saying.
No, but absolutely. So, my male clients, they like to do like a deep maroon, navy blue. My female clients love this mauve color, love this ocean, I call it ocean blue. Maybe sometimes lavender, but very calm, subtle color. Because you can still look at that and read everything. But if you have bright neon shooting at your eyes, you probably won't see anything else. But yes, this client on the right, she has a very extensive background. 3 pages this resume. And the skills are actually at the bottom. So sometimes if you have a very, very extensive background with a ton of experience and a ton of achievements that this client did, you mainly put this at the bottom, right? But if you have a client that has, not as much of experience, then you move the skills to the top. But you see bullet point format. Okay, you do have the profile summary, and that's totally acceptable as long as you don't go above a certain amount of sentences. This is basically a strong introduction to who this person is or to what they're targeting, right? So for example, executive assistant, this is what that person was targeting. Same thing over here, executive director for nonprofit development, that's what she was targeting. Now, a general rule of thumb, if you don't have a lot, like you haven't been in a position very long, you probably won't have a ton of achievements to share. And that's okay. So for example, this client has been in her role since 2018. So she might not have as many achievements. Now, this client, she's been in it since 2019, but she's done a lot of amazing stuff. So she's gonna have more detail. And that's okay. So even if your resume doesn't have all of this, that's okay. As long as you showcase what you bring to the table. A lot of my clients, every time I give them a resume, they're like, I look too good. And I said, but that's what you've done. I'm showing you off. You want, the point of the resume is to show you off. Show off what you've done. Because that's, you want to put your foot in the door to a great company. You want to show that you can make an impact. Make sure to do that on your resume. And again, here, now the structure here with each job, you can change this, but you always want to make it defined. You want to clearly see she worked for Assurant, she was a customer specialist, she worked from 2018, and she's still there, she lived in Chicago. You can clearly see it. If you want to put it all on one line, you can, but sometimes if your company name is super long or your title super long and it moves to another line, just stick to the 2 lines. It's going to keep it very organized. Now here, remember I said no header and no footer? So name, title, contact information. And then you have a line. You have a line to divide. Then you have the boxes to highlight each skill or each title. Yes.
So like executive assistant, is that the job she's looking to get or the job that she has?
She's targeting that.
So, and then, so like format, it's like header, professional, summary, skills, education experience, or do you put education at the bottom?
Depends. So you're a student, you put it up top. That because you just got out of college, you don't have much experience. This is your first full-time role. Let me ask, are any of you working full-time right now? What do you do?
I work at a brewery at third. I do bartending and serving, but I also do events and whatever working.
Now that's awesome. Event management, catering management, other skills. Customer service, bartending, restaurant, maybe not restaurant management, unless you're in a managerial position. Conflict resolution, but I get customer complaints a lot, right? Those are key skills that you can put into an event manager role that's the target. But for you, you would put education, so like you have your professional summary, education, skills, if you have work below, or if you have volunteer work or clubs, put that below. So that's how you organize yours. And I gave you all my business card for a reason. Send it to me. I'll look at it, I'll tell you what's wrong, and I'll give you this format that you can use for yourself. I'm here as a resource. I want to make sure you guys have the best success possible. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, this font, oh, you have a question?
Yeah, question from the chat.
Oh,
Do
perfect.
we have access to this PowerPoint after the internship?
Yeah, absolutely. I emailed it to Dylan, so he has it, so he can email it to you after, or I can. Is it possible you can type my email in the chat?
Absolutely.
Okay. You ready?
Yep, and I can also do that.
Oh, you do it after, okay. She's gonna type my email in the chat, so then you can email me and I'll send you this as well as the resume formats. You guys are more than welcome to use these. One thing to keep in mind, this font here, you want to be careful with font. Same thing with graphics and colors and photos. You want to use fonts that are ATS compliant. I always use Garamond. This is the one that's up here. Garamond has been recognized as the #1 font for ATS. It is a petite version of Times New Roman. I think it looks pretty, in my opinion. It's very formal, it's easy to read. I always say, stick with what you know. If you ever do want to bring in a different font, you can do Calvary. Anything within the Sans family, but I would say to just stay safe. I've only used Garamond for all my clients. This format you see right here is the same thing I use on every single client. Why? Because this is what's gotten me jobs.
And what's the font name again?
Garamond. So when you're in Microsoft Word, it's in there. You scroll down to G, it's there. Google Docs, it's there. Pages, I believe it's there too. Does anyone have any questions about this? Any questions about how to write a resume, how to beat the bots, keywords, design? Yes.
So a lot, I don't know if this is bad or not.
No, go ahead.
You have work experience in, when you submit your resume. Software.
Yeah.
It takes your bullet points from your resume into the software and I use them. Could we, just having bullet points inside the actual resume, like not inside the actual application, like online, does that make a difference or do we not use bullet points for that in the actual application?
I always just copy and paste.
So
Yeah.
copy and paste the bullet.
Yep, just copy paste. When you're in that system and it says upload the resume, but it still asks you to manually do it, literally, just highlight it. Copy paste the whole thing, because those ATS are so picky that the older ones might still require bullet points. The newer ones, maybe not. But no matter what, just do it. Same practice every time. Thankfully, you won't have to do that all the time because not a lot of companies have those systems where you have to manually enter it. A lot of the time it's put your name, put your email, upload a resume, go. Which is really cool. So that might be a newer system.
I do like the newer systems.
Yeah, now keep in mind, when you're, your question? Oh, so when you're looking at job applications, where do you guys go currently?
Handshake. Or LinkedIn.
Handshake, LinkedIn? What is it? Ooh, it's a first. Ripple Match?
Yeah, I had a user apply to a job, but I haven't really used it since the summer of my internship. But
Yeah.
the thing is they actually have like a bot or something that keeps giving you recommendations and it's getting a little old, but I actually can do that now probably.
So when you use Indeed or ZipRecruiter or LinkedIn, they all do it. You upload your resume, you put in your ideal position, and they'll email back, oh, we saw you're a good fit for this. Be wary of that because sometimes Indeed does not listen and will send you roles that is for stuff that's not even really what you're factoring in.
Handshake does the same. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten job recommendations in Washington State,
Yeah,
But you,
Chicago.
yeah,
I was advised by like, the career center, if while you're a student, handshake, most, apparently app states more applicants applying for positions if they have on handshake, they're sales students, so like, statistically, you have a better chance of finding a job for like, the actual experience on handshake.
yeah, in my knowledge of handshake, that's specifically for students, correct? Yeah, so big thing with handshake and other platforms that universities specifically use. Employers work with the university on their open opportunities. A lot of time it's for internships and for entry-level roles. They talk to the university and say, I'm hiring an administrative assistant. This is what I want. Then they give them the requirements and they put it on handshake. You want to make sure, no matter where it's posted, Indeed, LinkedIn, Career Builder, Monster, handshake, always look at the job description. Now, I know it can get a little annoying when you look at every single job and you're wondering, oh, this one has this word, or this one has this word, oh, I'm confused. Pick your top 10. This is what I always tell my clients. Pick your top 10 roles, put them all in Word Generator, or just read through them and put an Excel spreadsheet up, type all the keywords you see from what you've learned today. And when you're writing your resume, put them in there somewhere, the hard skills, in your sentences. So then, because when you put in a mass majority or a good bit of roles, that's giving you a much better chance that the majority of those companies are using those similar keywords. The only way that you can actually get 100% is if you flat out just copy paste the job description and put it in the resume, right? And I'll mention that. With ATS, you rank. When I say rank, you rank at a certain percentage. So remember on LinkedIn, it shows you're at the top 25%. ATS will rank you, let's say your resume matches this job by 85%. That's pretty good. 75%, that's good too. Under that, maybe you need to, you know, if there's things you're missing from the job description, you might want to add more in. But where you guys are now, you're probably going to have possibly a difficult time applying because one, you don't have a lot of skills. And that's okay. I was there, guys. I was here in 2016 and I'm in my MBA. I'm a student too, right? So I'm with you. But you're also in a very interesting spot. Companies are desperate. They want talent, they want it now. So when you apply, you're going to be in a really cool spot where the company will basically roll the red carpet out for you to get you on board because you graduated with a bachelor's. I know you guys rock in class. Why not? Why would they not hire you? As long as you translate that on your resume and you sell yourself in the interview, you guys are going to be sailing. Just keep this in mind. The resume does not get you hired. And remember that. The resume gets you in the door. How you get hired is how you sell yourself. How do you do that? Be confident in what you write. Be confident in you. So you walk in that room and you show them who you are, you'll have an offer letter in no time. And I'm always here. So you have my business card. If you ever, I mean, seriously, email me your resume. I will look at it. I'll put it in that format. I'll show you what keywords you're missing. And if you ever need interview help, I'm always here too. But I believe that is it. Does anyone have any questions? Zoom, any questions? Well, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, later on.
Oh.